Hey guys, it's your girl Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with 5 new reflective glitters from Soul Dip. So we're going to take a look at these and see if they reflect as beautifully as they say they do. And we're going to put together a little wild mani using one of these. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then stick around. We're getting into it. Alright guys, so unless you've been sleeping under a manicure rock lately, then you've probably seen that reflective glitters are definitely trending right now. So they first came available in gel products, and more recently they started to show up in dips. And so I've seen quite a few from some larger brands, and we're starting to see them trickle into some of the small businesses. So I was very intrigued when Sol released these to see what she was going to come up with, because she never seems to disappoint. She always makes such gorgeous dips. So far she's put out 9 in her collection. They were kind of released at different times, so there's a total of 9 now. So I do have 5 of them. There are a few that I did not pick up, either because they got released a little bit later or because they weren't really colors that I felt were flattering to my skin tone. But the point is, if you take a look at her webpage, and I'll have it linked for you down below, she does have quite a few options that would really suit anybody. So if you're not familiar with what reflective glitters are, they're just a type of fine glitter that is really high shine and high reflect, particularly in flash photography or in flash videos. So, it looks, pretty and sparkly on its own, but when it gets lit up by a flashlight or by a heavy flash, it really sparkles and shines like super bright. So it just makes a really cool effect, and it's really fun when you combine them with some of these colors too. You get a really neat effect. So anyway, enough gabbing. Let's get into some swatches. Alright, so the first one we have here is called Dancing Queen, and this is kind of a dusty purple, although it does have some really pigmented purple glitters in it too. It's a nice mix. So, as I open this up, hopefully you can kind of get a vibe of what these reflective glitters look like, but like I said, wait till you see them in flash photography. The next one we have here is called I Will Survive, and this is her red reflective glitter. The next one I have here is a blue reflective glitter called Staying Alive. The next one I have here is called Disco Inferno, and this is a traditional reflective glitter that's silver. And the last one I have here is called La Freak, and it's more of like a fuchsia tone, I would say. And I did notice this one was just a little bit less reflective than the other ones, but I believe that's just because there's more of a multicolored glitter mixed in here with the reflective glitter, so it just sparkles a little bit less, but it's still super gorgeous. Here's a look at all 5 of them together, and I'll show you some different lighting just so you can see, but you'll get more of an idea at the end where I show you pictures and a little bit more video. Alright, so I know I always say this, but I actually did have a hard time picking out which one I wanted to use, but in the end I went with Disco Inferno just because I hadn't done a gray or silver mani in a while, so I felt like it was overdue. So I picked up Disco Inferno, and I decided I was going to pair it here with Hazy Gray, and I decided to make kind of a wild looking mani with some nail art. So we're going to go ahead and put this together with these 2 colors today. Alright, so we're going to put Hazy Gray on the thumb, the middle, and the pinky, and then we're going to put this reflective glitter Disco Inferno on the pointer and the ring. And then we'll be doing a little bit of freehand nail art on the pointer and the ring, and I'm just going to add a little striping tape and a little bit of sparkle in the middle finger just for effect. I'm also going to be playing around with her new cuticle cleanup tool, which is very similar to the Winstonia one that I use, except for this one's double-ended with the wax tool on the other end. I just don't think you can have too many of these. I use these every time I do a mani, so I figured I would test this one out and see if I liked it as much as my Winstonia. And I can see that it might be a hair thicker than my Winstonia, not as far as like the tip itself goes, but the very pointy end. But that might not be a bad thing because it won't be quite as sharp, so, you know, klutzy girl less likely to injure herself with this one, right? Alright, so I'm going to actually be taking most of this Hazy Gray out, particularly because what you're seeing me apply here now got taken off. And let me tell you why though, because I thought this might be helpful for some of you guys. This is a beautiful, beautiful light gray, and I love the way it looks, but because it is so light and so heavy with the white powder, it is kind of tricky to use with like a white is. So I started off dipping this, and I had a little bit of trouble getting it to not look bumpy and patchy. And what I ended up doing was I was really unhappy with it. And another thing happened too, where I tried to wipe it with a stained brush and then it stained the powder. So it was a fiasco. But what I wanted to tell you is I went ahead and popped them off, and I went back in for a second application. And this time I poured over instead of dipping in, which I know some of you guys love that, but I'm a lazy girl. I want to dip. But in this case, pouring over actually completely changed the application for me. It was so smooth, it was easy to work with. So I'm telling you that because if you have a white or a very, very light dip powder that's giving you trouble going on, it just doesn't want to lay right, and it's bunching up and looks patchy, try pouring it over and you might have better luck with it. So, you know, in this case, that's what I did. I started off dipping. I had a few problems with it. I went back and popped those off and then redid them with pouring over. And I mean, I'm telling you, it was night and day, almost no filing and buffing. It was perfect. So I know some of you are like, Carrie, if you did that every time, then it would always be easy. But I'm like, yeah, but I can usually dip and I usually don't have that issue. But there are definitely some powders like that where it does give a much nicer application if you do pour over. All right, so here it is after the second application already activated, and it looks great. So we're gonna go move on to that glitter. So when I first got these, I was a little unsure what to expect because I had previously already picked up some reflective gels and I was kind of disappointed in them. It wasn't so much the reflectiveness wasn't good, it's just that they were so sheer. It took me like 4 layers to get the opacity. And I know what they say with the gels, it's better to kind of glop them on there, but I don't like that look. I like a thinner application. So it just took more layers for me to build it up to enough opacity. So I wondered if these dip powders were going to be super sheer and hard to work with also. And they weren't at all. I will tell you, it did take me 2 full coats to get the full opacity, but I thought maybe it was going to take a whole lot more. And 2 is pretty standard with my thin liquids to get opacity, so, you know, it wasn't anything, you know, unreasonable as far as I'm concerned. But more than that, I wondered if they were going to be kind of pokey and hard to work with, like some other chunkier fine glitters. I know that's an oxymoron, right? Chunky fine glitters. But you know what I mean? Some just don't lay very flat and they are kind of like sharp and abrasive feeling. So I kind of wondered if these were going to be like that. And these are hands down the smoothest fine glitters I have ever worked with. So I don't know if that's just Sol's formula or if all reflective glitters are super smooth like that, but I was kind of blown away at how impressively easy it was to work with. Alright, so here we are so far, and they may not look like much yet, but we haven't finished them and top coated them, and that's when they really sparkle. But like I said, you can probably just see from that first layer how smooth everything looks. And can I just tell you that I think the theming of this with the disco names and all the disco songs is so cute, but also kind of irritating because if you don't think I was singing disco songs the entire time I was filming this video, and actually in the middle of doing this voiceover, then you're crazy. Yes, Disco Inferno is like blasting in my head right now, and I'm trying to concentrate and do this voiceover. Song bomb. Burn, baby, burn. Okay, be serious. Reflective glitter is serious business. But in all honesty, check out how flat and super gorgeous this looks after 2 layers. In fact, to the point to where I can't remember the last time I have not dipped a glitter in clear, and I did not dip this in clear because wait till you see the magic after you activate it. You think it looks smooth now. See what I mean? Like no jaggedness at all to speak of. So yeah, I didn't see the point in dipping this in clear. It was super flat and smooth and not like abrasive, not difficult to work with at all. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I love dipping glitters in clear because it makes it nice and smooth. But if it's already smooth, why bother? You're just risking, you know, making some spottiness or cloudiness on there when you don't even really need it. And I was probably just going to file most of it off anyway while I was filing and buffing. So it was better just to leave it the way it was, go ahead and activate it, and then just a little bit of cleaning up of the shape, and it was perfect. Alright, so I'm going to jump off camera and file and buff a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and add my top coat on everything but where we're going to do the art, and I'll throw in a little bit of striping tape too, so I'll be right back. Okay, so let's talk about what we got going on here. I have my No Cleanse Gel top coat on all the Hazy Gray nails. I do have, if you're wondering how I did that middle nail, I did that before putting the gel base and gel top on. I put down a little bit of that striping decal from iGel Beauty, and then I also put one of those super flat rhinestones from Sparkle & Co. on top of that, and then I just did my gel base and gel top coat over that. So that's kind of how I did that. I didn't want to show you that because I've done that in several videos already, but you know, super easy to apply it, and I'm telling you, striping decals, guys, striping decals makes your life so much easier. Forget the striping tape, it's just going to give you a headache. Alright, so as far as what's on the ring finger, that's what I'm going to show you on the pointer finger. It's not difficult, guys. In fact, it was kind of silly that I went ahead and did the ring finger, but it was mostly just lack of confidence in my ability to pull it off. But once I got it on there, I didn't want to take it off and start over, so that's why the ring is already done. But I'll show you how to do it on the pointer. It's actually quite simple, guys. So I'm going to start with a layer of gel base here, and I will cure that just to be my little foundation here for my nail art. Alright, so I'm going to use my iGel Beauty dual-ended liner brush here. I've got the longer side out right now, and you can see it's already got a little bit of the black polish on there. But we're going to be using that, and then I've also got my little Sparkle & Co. palette ring, which I like to use sometimes when I'm doing little detailed artwork just so that it's handy. And I've got my iGel Beauty line art gel here in the black, but if you don't have this kit, you could use whatever black gel polish you have. You could use black gel paint, you could use acrylic paint, you could use some types of markers, so don't feel like you have to have that. But I just, you know, I love that iGel set. You know I love that iGel set. I use it all the time, and I gave one away. It's my thing. It's my thing, okay? So this nail art is actually perfect for somebody who's not super great at art, or even for non-dominant hand work. Like if you're going to paint this on with your non-dominant hand, I promise you can do this with that, because it's not perfect. It's wiggly and irregular, and you don't have to worry about getting a straight line. In fact, if anything, I struggled at first on my ring finger because it's almost like I was trying to make it look too perfect. So I kind of had to, you know, smudge it a little bit and make some lumpy areas, because, you know, animal stripes, they're not perfect. They're not a perfect pattern. They're irregular, and they have a regular shape to them. So, you know, you want this to mimic the animal print, so you don't want to make it look so perfect. So I don't know what it is about animal print, but I love animal print. Like when it's not ostentatious, you know, I like it when it's like this, a little bit more understated, she says, with painting the stripes over the reflective glitter. But anyway, I like that understated animal print look, you know, as an accent. I just think it's super cool. But I had a little discussion with my husband. I was like, babe, is this tiger print or is this zebra print? Because I feel like it could have been both. At first I was like, this is definitely zebra, and then as I started painting it on, I'm like, well, it's kind of tiger. So, you know, naturally I did what people do when they don't know the answer to something. I googled it, what's the difference, and it turns out that there really isn't much difference. It's very subtle, the differences between the prints. So all that to say, I think you could easily adapt this and make this be tiger print. I'm definitely going with more zebra just because of the color scheme. You know, it's a little more black and white-ish. So, but yeah, it was funny because I was like, at first I was real confident when I was painting on zebra print. Then I'm like, I'm not so sure anymore. What do you guys think? Is this zebra print or is this tiger? And come back when you're older. Go catch the storm within your broken bones and be wild, 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 wild. Alright, so as I finish this up, one thing I did want to mention is that I did flash cure every few stripes. If you're using gel polish, regular gel polish, you may want to do it every stripe or so, just because as it starts to sit, it'll start to spread and you'll kind of lose that crispness. Say that 3 times fast. Crispness with the lines. So, you know, just things to keep in mind as you're working. So flash cure for 10 seconds, you know, per section, and then move on. And then of course, once you're done, make sure to give it a full cure so that everything gets completely solidified. And of course, finish with your top coat as usual. So I'm using gel here. Obviously, if you were using acrylic paint or something else, you could then go ahead and use your dip liquids and dip it in clear just to protect your nail art, and then finish with your dip top coat as usual. Alright, so here's the finished look. So we are ready to finish up with our cuticle oil here. So I have my Scales of a Mermaid here and Not Your Basic Vanilla, which seemed like a fitting scent for this mani, because even though the colors may be a little bit more basic and a little bit more muted, this zebra print or tiger print, whichever you choose, is definitely not. So this is Not Your Basic Mani, and so we need Not Your Basic Vanilla. And here's the finished mani. So what do you guys think of this one? You know, I say this a lot, but this is definitely one of my most favorite ones that I've done recently. I just really like that simple color scheme, but with a little bit of fun with the striping tape and the nail art. I just think it kind of dresses everything up. It makes it just a little more special. And as far as the reflective glitters go, man, I was really blown away at how easy these were to use. I was just expecting them to be much more difficult than they were. So, you know, to not even have to clear dip them was kind of impressive to me. So I was super excited with how well these went on, and I'll definitely be using the other ones that I picked up as well. So let me guys know in the comments down below, have you guys tried any of these, or maybe are these not your vibe? I'd really love to hear what you think, and if you tried some from another company, let me know which one you've tried, or if you tried any from Sol, because like I said, I really feel like she nailed this formula. She did a fantastic job. And just to be clear, guys, I didn't say this at the beginning of the video, but I am an ambassador for Sol Dips, but these were not sent to me. I did purchase them, albeit at a discount with my ambassador code, but these were not sent to me. I purchased them myself because I was really excited to try this formula. So if you're thinking about picking any of them up yourself, I do have an ambassador code for you, and it is Carrie10, and I'll have that on the screen and listed down below as well. But, you know, if you're thinking of picking up any of them up, then definitely get a discount, save a little bit of money on them. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and leave it here. So I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, it would help me out so much if you would give me a thumbs up down below. And while you're there, if you have not subscribed already, I hope you will consider subscribing before you go. And don't forget that notification bell. We got new content coming every Tuesday and Friday at 2 p.m. Central. So thank you guys again so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.